What's up guys, it's Ken and I'm back again with a brand new video. I know it's been a while since I made one, but boom, we're back at it again. So you're probably wondering where I've been and what I've been doing. Well, I got a job, I got a haircut, and then also I've been occupying my time with very productive things lately.
I'm champion! Get shit on! Get shit on! Get shit on! Your ass! Your ass! Shut the fuck up! 1v1 you pussy! Pussy! Fucking 1v1
But also I have been occupying my time with The Last of Us 2. But they really aren't bad thoughts, so maybe I'll make a video on that later. But getting back to the fact of the matter at hand, this video will be centered on HBO Max. It just released last month and there is a ton of cool stuff on that. So for this video, we're going to be kind of the top 10 movies that you should watch on HBO Max. Let's get started.
Let him go.
The hell is that thing?
So let's start the list off with number 10, Ken. Honestly, this movie is actually pretty slept on, even though it came out a few years ago. The movie follows a young boy who finds this mysterious alien rifle in a warehouse in Detroit, but during this time too, he's also reunited with his estranged brother who just so happens to be in trouble with the law, which causes them to go on the run from alien bounty hunters and also drug enforcers. This movie is actually extremely heartfelt between Ken and his brother, and actually has some pretty cool action sequences too. So if you're looking for a good sci-fi movie, Ken is totally worth checking out.
Godzilla, king of the monsters. It's alive. A gigantic beast. Stalking the earth, crushing all before it.
Number 9, Godzilla. This movie basically tells us why we should not mess with nature under any circumstances. So, Godzilla, or Gojira if you're fancy, tells the story of a giant kaiju, obviously named Godzilla, that terrorizes Japan. I know Godzilla nowadays is seen as a regular giant monster, but the first movie actually has a really deep message about the terrors of nuclear weapons and what they can do to our planet, and why we should be very careful with messing with them and the way things of nature work. So if you're interested in seeing the original Godzilla, I would totally recommend watching this film.
Of the living dead.
Number 8, Night of the Living Dead. One of the greatest zombie movies of all time. Night of the Living Dead is a kind of special movie that's somehow still relevant almost 60 years after its release. This movie follows a bunch of strangers who are forced to band together to survive endless hordes of the undead as they slowly try to make it to their location. This movie is very unsettling with its black and white aesthetic, and the scenes of violence are actually amplified with this aesthetic. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend watching this movie because you'll finally see the blueprints of where the zombie genre is now.
Now, the most menacing musical comedy ever to paint the silver screen green. Little Shop of Horrors. Where did you get such?
Number 7, Little Shop of Horrors. This actually has been one of my favorite musicals of all time, and I'm so glad to see it appear on this app. If you haven't seen this movie, or you've been living underneath a rock, Little Shop of Horrors follows Seymour, a florist working in a small flower shop on Skid Row, who just so happens to buy a new flower from the local market. The flower becomes a hit at the shop, but at a shocking cost. Little Shop of Horrors is a delight with so many good songs like I'll Be a Dentist, Feed Me Seymour, and let alone the intro song. Should be more than enough of a reason for you to go and check out this movie. Feed your musical void with Little Shop of Horrors today.
Oh, wake up before it's too late! People are saying, well, you know, it's coyotes and it's wolves, but we know the truth.
Number 6, Eight-Legged Freaks. This movie may not be for the faint of heart if you're terrified of spiders, but if you aren't, you're in for a wild ride. Eight-Legged Freak follows a small town in the middle of nowhere getting attacked by giant mutated spiders. Eightlegged Freaks feels like a throwback to many old 1950s movies with a 2000s edge to it. Oh, another thing in it too is that a young Scarlett Johansson's in it, so totally check out Eightlegged Freaks if you have the time.
Rules are simple. You can hide anywhere. We then try to find you.
So there's no way for me to win, right?
And stay hidden till dawn.
No, thank you.
Good luck.
Number 5, Ready or Not. They honestly don't make a lot of movies like this, so when they do, I always tend to pay attention. Ready or Not follows this newlywed bride named Grace who joins her husband's family for their annual game night. So when the family asks Grace to go and pick the new game, she picks hide and seek, but she finds out that their version of hide and seek is a bit more intense. Ready or Not does this really cool thing of mixing action, horror with black comedy. So if you're looking for a movie that's pretty different, I would highly recommend Ready or Not. Number 4, Qui-Gon. I think with all of my recommendations lately, I think I should make a list solely with foreign movies involved, because I recommend them a lot. And I think that this one would be a good Japanese horror movie that should be on your radar. Qui-Gon is a horror anthology movie that tells the tale of 4 different ghost stories from Japanese folklore. This movie might be one of the more longer ones on the list, but I feel like it could also be a challenge too for people who just hate subtitles for some reason. I don't understand your reasoning for it, but I digress. So if you're willing to put in that extra effort, I think you'll actually find a really great horror movie that's actually surprisingly scary too, no matter how dated it is. So I would definitely put Qui-Gon on your radar. Number 4, Princess Mononoke. If I can make a confession, I've never actually seen that many Hayao Miyazaki movies. It's a tragedy, I know, but I invested a lot of my childhood into other animated movies. Some were good, some were bad, except for Shark Tales. I love Shark Tales. Your number 1 Shark Tales. But I can honestly say I put my money in the wrong horse, because I can honestly say that Princess Mononoke has to be one of the most beautiful anime movies I've ever seen. The movie follows a young boy who is infected by this monstrous disease that has no cure with human medicine, but nature has the cure for all of his troubles. The only problem is that the forest all around is being affected with the same disease that he has, and the only way that he can actually survive is with the help of Princess Mononoke and her giant wolf god buddy. Princess Mononoke is a story that will make you think about the important stuff around us, especially nature. So if you're into a deep thought animated movie, Princess Mononoke is definitely up your alley.
His wife.
I missed you.
Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Sit down.
Number 2, Die Hard. Now, if you haven't seen Die Hard before, I honestly really don't understand what you've been doing with your free time, because this movie is considered to be a game changer when it comes to action and very cop movies in general. The movie follows John McClane, who was attending his wife's Christmas party in Nakatomi Plaza. The good times are cut short when a group of terrorists take over Nakatomi Plaza and they begin to hold everyone inside hostage. Now it's up to John to save his wife and her co-workers and take down the terrorists before it's too late. I'm not sure what else to say about this movie that hasn't been said already, so go watch it just to be informed on what the cultural osmosis is with Die Hard.
The only thing he would kill for.
If you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate, right?
Wrong.
Number 1, Commando. A standout in action movie cinema, Commando is non-stop mayhem with Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. Commando follows John Matrix, probably the most badass name behind Ken Magnet, a retired special forces soldier who finds his life turned upside down when his daughter is kidnapped by an evil dictator who wants Matrix to work for him for his daughter's safety. This leads John to go on a full-on rampage against his daughter's kidnappers. Commando is literally one of those movies that you can't have a bad time with. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's a great ride. And that concludes my list for HBO movies that you guys should watch. Thanks again for watching. I also know that this video took a while to come out though, but thanks again for checking it out. And also I will be trying to make a more healthier and more streamlined updating schedule so you guys can have more content to watch. So thanks again. Please sure to like, share, and twerk on that subscribe button, and I'll come out with more movies later. Thanks.